Ah, sorry. Like it is a bop. Like, and I still like the other music better. You know what I did though, Rochelle? I saw your webinar yesterday. Was it yesterday? Oh, this week is going weird. 2 days.
Tuesday. It has been a long week.
It's been a long week. Like, I feel like during a Trump presidency, every week is going to feel like a year. Just the way it is. Sorry, that's there. That is the personal views of Ben Klein, and we represent the personal views of Pi, but we'll tell you that later. Anyways, yeah, hope that everyone is doing well out there. This is the Thursday temperature check. It is where we get a awesome chance to talk about things that are in the industry, things that will be affecting our members, stuff that's going on. It's just a way for us to touch base and provide a little stability in whatever is happening in your life or in the procurement world. My name is Ben Klein. I'm the Chief Recipe Officer at Pi, the owner of BK Jam and Consulting, or Geek Proposals, whatever I'm branding myself as, a proposal response firm. With me today is Michelle Ray. Finally, we're together in the same room of sorts. As you can see behind Rochelle, it looks like she's in an airport.
Oh no, Michelle's flying again, which is increasingly terrifying every time I get on the plane. So I've only got one left. Fingers crossed for me all. I just gotta get home.
Rochelle is our Chief Bakers Officer and now the head of product marketing.
Marketing innovation. I don't do product. I'm
I'm
an
gonna get.
subject matter expert, y'all. It's amazing.
I'm gonna nail this. I'm gonna nail this title at some point. It's
We'll
gonna
get
be
it
great.
at the same time because I forget it too. I work at Open Asset. It's lovely. They're lovely people. That's my pitch.
That's your pitch. Good go. And with us today, actually, is Brianna Carter. Brianna is going to be putting on, as part of our expert webinar series, Brianna is bringing together a panel to talk about kind of the future of proposals. And we'll get to that in a second. Brianna is a member of our customer advisory board, so one of the 13 experts that guide us lovingly through our development in this increasingly interesting world that we all live in. And we really, really appreciate both her involvement and in her knowledge. So with that in mind, let's get started. So Brianna, maybe you can cue up by telling us a little bit about yourself.
So about me, I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, where it's currently snowing. Well, it was not so long ago. So if you want to talk about temp in that sense, it's about 30 degrees, cloudy, a nice snowy, cold day. But I am a marketing strategist focused on academic clients with Page, which is an architecture firm, nationwide, 20 offices. And like I said, I focus in on academic clients. I've been in the industry for about 8 years now. Started in construction, went over to engineering and architecture. So I like to say I have the A, the E, and the C. Focused in on the human experience in business, aka DEI, aka IDEA, whatever we are calling it now in this crazy world. But I love to talk about all things diversity, equity, inclusion, human experience, accessibility, you name it. And like Ben said, part of the Baker's Dozen, which has been awesome to meet with a lot of people who do what we do on a day-to-day basis, who fell into this industry, fell into proposals, and can't get out because we love the chaos. Chaos coordinator.
Chaos coordinator. Fair. Appreciate you so much. All right. So let's talk about this. So Rochelle had this brainchild last year, this idea of having an expert webinar series. So we try to have one free and one paid or behind our paywall webinar, and we try to bring together like super smart people to discuss about things that you need. And Brianna came to us because you were thinking about the future and what proposals should look like. And this is not an unknown topic. People have been thinking about like, how do I get ahead of what's going to be happening in procurement and stuff like that. But you had a slightly different take. Do you want to maybe lay out for the audience what you're thinking around this?
Yeah, so I'm super excited about this topic that we're talking about, which is, user experience in proposals. So UX of proposals and just seeing where we can go in the future and what they can look like. This kind of came up. I was talking to Rochelle one day, and it's like, there's so many cool things that we're doing and so many cool things that people can't do in proposals, and just how our readers can digest them, whether that's through a microsite. Most of us are still doing these via print and or sending them via email or uploading them to a portal. But like, could this become a microsite? Could this become something that people can listen to and or watch? It's kind of interesting how people are coming up with different ideas, especially as we get more technologically advanced, as we start talking about accessibility and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to read and hear our quals. So it's just a fun time to just dive into this. And what we're doing with this panel is we're bringing in Ida Chinman, which you guys may know in the S&PS world. She is incredible, and I ended up finding her information. She actually did a presentation for a S&PS Research Triangle last week, and I just reached out to her and like, hey, it seems like you like UX and AI and proposals, and so do I. So let's talk. So she's joining us. I was also introduced to John Barker, I believe. I have his last name correct, but everything's happening right now. I have 2 interviews and a proposal going on, so spare me. But he is a strategic partner, and when we talked to him last, just the mindset and the thought process behind that kind of procurement and the cost side of all of this, and just how can we talk about presenting our quals and presenting how much we can put towards a proposal in a smart way. Because I mean, we look at money or we look at numbers. How can we make that digestible? How can we make that consumable for our clients and for our future owners?
Perfect. So I mean, and we have like this type of discussion. And sorry, I'm just adjusting my computer. How awkward is that? We have this discussion a lot inside of proposal industry experts, because we know that like no one is reading our 40-page, 80-page, 120-page
Really?
document.
You're not reading?
I I feel like I just told you Santa Claus doesn't exist. So
I tell
And
I tell my project teams all the time. I was like, well, I tell myself that people read every single page because then I would just sit here and cry. So I'm gonna put everything and my whole entire heart into this and tell this beautiful story and just pretend like they read.
yeah,
I'm gonna pretend.
yeah.
I'm sure they read some of it.
The
Yes.
bold, the bold words.
Yeah, they skim down. We spend a lot of time.
At the launch of Pi, we had David Stearman on to give like the opening myths about proposal management. And one of the myths that he like punctured us with was no one reads your proposal. And the statistic that he had gotten from US Gov at that time was that the average member of your steering committee will spend 8 minutes on your proposal before making a decision to see you or not. Humorously, very closely in line to what happens on a first date. So
I mean, we are dating. Like we're trying to like bring people in and go like, do you want to maybe go out? Okay, let's get to the short list. Okay, do you want to get married? Like
it's true.
it's so true.
And there's an app for that. It's called Bonfire or usgov.sam, like whichever.
Exactly.
Anyways, all right. So we have this conversation about like, well, how if we know that people aren't going to be reading the whole thing, how do we present information that is valuable? And of course, we are hindered by the fact that while the proposal is a way of soliciting information, it is also a way that they build confidence and reduce risk. And because of that reducing risk thing, I feel like they sometimes put a lot of information, like procurement officers have to shove a lot in there, without really thinking about like, well, what is the thing that I'm going to get back?
Yeah.
Like they don't actually like anticipate what they're going to be getting back. And when we prepare for them, maybe in the format that they suggest, we know, hey, you've made it harder for your readers to actually understand what we're delivering, right? Like you've made it more difficult for your team.
And even repeated yourself. You've asked for the same thing, 15 times. And you can't just say like, per section A, where I said this before, and then said it again on the cover letter and again. Like, you have to actually answer and say, here we are all eloquently, like you said, like dating. Here I am. But it's crazy how even everything is so rapid in general that procurement officers aren't even asking the right questions. They're not getting the right people to submit quals. And then if they do get the right people to submit quals, how hard have they made this?
Mhm.
Did they even ask the question? Are they getting the answers that they want? Or is the question so roundabout that they can't get that specific answer?
Mhm.
Or are they asking for you to give them the sun, moon, and the stars in, 5 pages with a
Yeah,
12-point font? Not from experience.
yeah. Fair, fair. All right. So, I mean, you mentioned microsites earlier. Have you, in your professional career, already tried different ways of presenting information? Like, I'm sure most proposal managers have, like, attempted to restructure what someone has delivered to them and being like, hey, like, I recognize how you're wanting it, but I'm going to do something a little bit different to make it easier on you.
I
Uh,
I wish I can say I have.
oh, no.
The thing is, though, we had someone come to us and kind of present what a microsite could look like.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, can we start this tomorrow? Like, can I just send everyone a link to everything? I will figure out this whole entire process of sending someone through a site and just going through our quals. And no, I feel like the buy-in isn't quite there, but I want there to be that one client who is really ready for this, which I
Mhm.
feel like, I mean, on the private side, or even on for some academic clients who just want you to, you know, tell them everything that they want to know in, let's say, their Texas criterion that they typically ask for, like, that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome just to be able to take a customer through that journey. And I mean, even to that point, I think Rochelle, you and I were talking about like, what if you could just have a podcast episode or something to where you're just talking through your proposal and you hear that kind of that camaraderie with your team and the dynamics of all that. Because I mean, Rochelle, you're in the airport and there's a lot of times where we may just be walking around, and knowing how multitask oriented we all are and how busy we all are, can we just listen and kind of digest content that way? So it's interesting to just think about with how short our attention spans are and how quickly we're all moving and how quickly people want their jobs to, get started. Can we change how we actually take in proposals?
Yeah. And I definitely feel there's space there. Sorry, Rochelle, you were about to talk. I apologize.
Oh no, 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 you're good. You're good. Yeah, I was gonna say I've been mulling over that a lot since our conversation, Brianna, and I keep coming back to this idea that like we're gonna have to change how we propose because everyone's all like concerned about too much AI generated content making companies able to fake experience. But you can't really, I mean, you can, but faking that conversation and that camaraderie and that sound of a team working together is a little bit different. So I'm wondering if there will be an opportunity for procurement to look at alternative options and accept them as a way to combat and get that authenticity. Like maybe creativity is what's going to save everything. I don't know. Maybe that's optimistic, but it'd be nice.
But that is the thing. It's like their technology is advancing so quickly, and there's a lot of scary stuff out there. Like, I mean, people are creating songs with the likeness of, famous artists, and so it's one of those to where how far do you go, and at what point does it not become, ethical or right? And no matter what in the interview, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So don't lie, people.
So
But we'll just see what we can do.
Yeah, and I mean we already have some variations, but I noticed that in Europe I see a lot of proposals being submitted as PowerPoint presentations, even if they ask for a Word document, and they're a little bit more information dense than a regular PowerPoint presentation, but they are not as information dense as like a Word or a PDF document would be. There is almost there's almost an assumption that you will follow up with that person to talk like through what was presented on that deck. So it's a very interesting thing. And then for microsites, one of the ones that I saw recently was as soon as the proposal exited the submission date, the microsite went live. But one of the interesting things is that the steering committee could go in and submit specific questions to the microsite, then
Ooh.
be answered by the team uh, for them. Like, so if they didn't want to read the whole proposal, like, hey, I didn't see this right away, kind of thing. So it sort of bypassed that procurement officer process of like the shuttling questions back
Mhm.
and everything like that. So it was this very interesting. But like I looked at that and I was like, oh, there's no reason that you couldn't create a chat bot that
Yeah.
the microsite was pointed at a SharePoint site or some repository of information that was the original like response to the proposal, and they could chatbot with only that as the information source. Like, tell me what they think about this kind of thing, or something like that. And it's like, oh no, you need to escalate this because I don't have enough information in the source or something. Anyways, like there are a lot of ways. What do you think though, Brianna? Like one of the questions that's going to come up in this session is it doesn't really matter what we think we can do to improve readability. We are constrained by what is happening from procurement. Do you have like a response or an answer to that? Like at the end of the day, we have to respond a little bit how they want us to respond. Like,
And that did come up when we were, starting our kind of kickoff process and, trying to see, well, what questions are we going to expect and what are the things that we think, our Pi network wants to hear. And yeah, we are stuck when it comes down to procurement. We, like I said, that dreaded 11-point font and 25 pages, but answer 15 questions. Like that's a real, situation and problem. And especially, in the architecture world, we're all about pictures and graphics and, trying to showcase those things, but then answer the questions. So a lot of the times it is about being succinct in what you're saying and going, straight to the point, just answering them, step by step. But it is going to be like, I think, that private client who is willing to just see something differently. I also think it's going to be hard to get everyone to go that route. And what I mean by that is there is a equity aspect to this in the sense that, from even our industry, you could have a bunch of people pursuing one thing and you'll get a range. You'll get people who just submit the Word doc, and you get people who submit the PowerPoint. You get people who submit the incredibly, interactive and InDesign file that takes you to all these different things, embedded QR codes, links. There's like a little GIF over here that's moving. And so it's like you just see this range of capabilities. And it's gotten even to the point where there's some people who say, no, we don't want to, don't take us to anywhere. Like we have to click on a link. We're not clicking on it. You're not allowed to embed a link. You're not allowed to embed a QR code. Do I even want to see a picture? No, just send me text. Like it's to kind of level that playing field, which is where we get stopped.
yeah,
But the thing is, it's like, there's a lot of times that a video speaks louder than words. A picture speaks louder than words. A graphic, like a good graphic, and I wish I was a graphic designer. I say that every single time because it's like, here's what I'm trying to say. Can you do it? And they spit it out. I'm like, yes, that right there would have taken me 15 weeks to produce this. But it's like, can we find a way to just package things in a nice way to say what we need to say? But I have no idea where that change starts. And I don't know if it's conversations with business development and their end user clients, or is it just like, hey, I know you said you wanted it this way, but I did this and you're my bud, so you're still going to read it because I answered all your questions, but just check this out, just give it a chance.
I have some subtle hope for you there. Like I know that a lot of the platforms they are trying to tell their clients that they'll be able to help them reduce risk, and they're kind of moving to almost a process by which they will identify possible vendors for you. Now, there's so many problems with that, like the elimination of small business owners, etc.
Mhm.
But one of the things that one of the procurement officers that I'm trying to get on the show talked about is he's like, hey, like from what I understand about proposal managers, y'all are too busy to like get professional education. He's like, we are the same thing. We don't get exposed to a lot of new ideas all the time. So sometimes, like if someone slips something over in the proposal that you liked, you will ask for it again in the next proposal. So there might be this might be a situation where we can ground up influence a little bit about how procurement does things just by giving them something that's palatable. Like, here's your little moose boosh of information.
I feel like that's how Gantt charts got added in. It's like someone decided to create this lovely chart, and now we all have to do it. And I don't know how to do those either. So it's just like,
Yeah,
someone did something that they liked.
I think that like the idea is I'm looking forward to your presentation and your panel, because what I'm thinking is that if we can just get some ideas about like how to be a little bit more readable, a little bit more presentable, that we can get information a little bit more palatable, that could kind of spread through the procurement industry, and maybe that'll start getting reflected in the platforms and the organizations that like ultimately control what they're trying to receive from us. Like, hey, I will still probably receive a bid this year that asks to be printed. But the good news is that is the rarity now compared to like 2017, where almost all of my bids were printed. So
Exactly. And you had to drive across town and slip and trip up the stairs, like literally get it into the person's hands. And of course, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to deliver it to the project manager. No, you're going to put it on, the assistant's desk, and then someone's going to go grab that box later.
yeah,
But it was an effort.
it'll be a public opening. It'll be great. It'll be great. All right. Good times. I do want to call out this comment that Kathleen made earlier about us talking about the apps. So Bonfire is going to love that. I can see the new tagline now. Bonfire, like Tinder, but for bid managers. Definitely. But Kathleen, you're always a wonder. You're always a wonder in this area. I would love that. It, you have inspired me, Kathleen, to like think of a way to present this to the proposal management team, as if like somehow the procurement process is actually just like a really elaborate dating uh, process. Like I I really want to get this out. All right, it's fantastic. All right, moving along from there. Brianna, this is great. When is your presentation being held? I should
It is on Pi Day. So it will be on Friday, March 14th. And yes, when Rochelle and I talked, we're like, when's a good time? So like, what about March? Well, of course you got to do it on Pi Day. So
Yeah.
you have a slice of pie, pizza pie, apple pie, whatever pie you want, French silk, and just tune in with us and we can chat about UX and proposals.
Yeah. So if you haven't booked in for it, book in for it now. The links will go up in the Pi community and be available for everyone to take. I will be in Japan at the time, having a family trip.
Hopefully
Super.
eating pie.
Hopefully eating. Do they have pies in Japan? Like every country has the equivalent of like some sort of baked good, whatever, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like
And I'm sure they're beautiful and aesthetic and delicious because
yeah. No, sorry.
every
Let
Japanese
me
food is amazing.
and I apologize for like my ignorance, like shining through and glowing. Like this guy does not travel. I am aware that there will be like French patisseries and like various organizations that will provide me with a pie. But like I'm trying to think in Japanese cuisine, like is there a pie? I
Well, I
guess.
mean, I had the moment when I went to Denmark for the first time. If you get, like we call them Danishes, they're not
Yeah.
called Danishes in Denmark. Yeah, don't call them Danishes.
Oh no.
Exactly. And I was like, I want to get a Danish in Denmark. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Fair. All right, I will hunt around. I will let you know. I'm on the chase now to try to find out. Anyways, we're coming up to the end of our episode. Brianna, you've been in the industry for a while. Here at the Temp Check, we try to do something that we call, like, even though it's called the Thursday Temperature Check, the tagline is that it's Tales from the Pitch, and this comes from an old habit I had when I went to conferences. I would try to get like the craziest story from the assembled proposal managers of like something that happened inside their bid. And so for this one though, we don't require you to come up with the craziest. We look for anything that it was challenging or humorous, just something that like humanizes all of us in our shared experience or our shared realization of something that you went through in the procurement process. So if you have one, let us know.
So
I'm
I
ready.
I will put you guys in my life right now, and then I may tangent and go to a past experience. But it's snowing in North Carolina. We have shut down the state, not that bad, but we have at least, hunkered down. Daycare is closed. Ben and I at least, bond over the twin life. So me and the 3-year-olds are just here in different meetings, and they pop up, and my daughter's like, "It's snowing outside," and I'm over here having like this conversation about our interview, trying to like pull the deck together. I got one on one arm and leg, and then one the other on the other arm and leg, and then one starts to throw itself over, and it's just like, what did you say? I know you're talking to me. I know you're talking to me. And I'm trying to mute, and I'm parenting, I'm disciplining, I'm, losing my mind. Like, I have my cup, and I was like, I know it's just coffee, but I wish there was something else in this cup right now. But like, as much as you wish that things would calm down, and you wish that you just get like a little bit of a break. Proposals don't stop. There's still client needs and work needs, and your kiddos still need you. So we're having a great time, and people have been great. Every call that they're on, they're just like, "Hi there," and having full conversations like, "What are you doing?" and like, "What are you working on?" and things like that. And of course, like, my daughter's all obsessed with magnetiles.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they don't call them magnets; they're maggots. I'm playing with maggots.
Oh, that's great.
So it's just those little things to where you're like, sometimes you need that childhood innocence.
Yeah.
But I would say the crazy thing is, jumping from proposal to proposal to proposal. We had this period where, and for all my academic architecture clients out there, people who work on those type of proposals, student life is crazy right now. Like, there's a lot of residence halls that we're trying to build. And there was, kid you not, 1 month to where me and the proposal team, we were on 3 different proposals, same 4 of us. And we're like, okay, well, which one is this? Is it higher ed? Or is not higher ed? Is it for, grad students, undergrad? Is this freshman? Does this one have dining? Like, every call we would start, okay, I see you 3.
Yeah.
Which one is this? Okay, UT. Got it. Grad school. Okay, now we're ready. So there's so much that we juggle, and for everyone out there who's juggling, I hear you, I see you, we can do this.
Fair enough. That's a great place to end it. Thank you so much, Brianna. You can find Brianna on LinkedIn. She is in the proposal engineering experts community. Pi, come join us if you have questions for her. If you haven't booked into her webinar, why have you not booked into her webinar? Get started and get it done.
Because
Rochelle,
the link's not set up.
Oh, that's me.
So anybody
100%.
who's looking for the link, it will be up no later than early next week. So
Yeah, there you
book
go.
in as soon as it goes out. Look for that email. That's on me, not on you.
Just remember Pi Day. Pi Day.
All right. Just remember Pi Day. Rochelle, safe travels on your day. Is there anything you want to follow up with before we end?
No, RFP 101 is rolling. It's doing great. We are starting to bring new people into our new platform. Be on the lookout for your special invite. Other than that, life is good in the pie world.
All right. Y'all be safe out there. Have a great weekend, whether it's snowing or raining or whatever in your neck of the woods. Be safe, have fun, and enjoy your weekends. All right. Y'all take care.